What's up, everybody, and welcome back. Here we are with Week 11, Match Day 11 predictions. We're going to go over Week 10 review real quick. I was going to spread the episodes out to do a review and just a Match Day predictions one, but this week has been a little hectic. That's why the video is out late, but let's go ahead and jump right into it. So first up, we had Fc Cincinnati versus Toronto FC. I predicted it was going to be a 1-1 draw. Really ended up being a 2-0 win for FC Cincinnati. Next up, we had Charlotte FC versus Inter Miami. Thought it was going to be a 0-0 draw. Actually ended up being a 1-0 win for Charlotte. Then we had Montreal versus Orlando City. Got a little ahead of myself there. I thought that Montreal was going to win 2-1. It actually ended up being 4-1. We move on to my Atlanta. Pumped for the game tonight. It actually would be last night when this video comes out. Atlanta against Chicago Fire. I thought it would be a 2-0 win for Atlanta, but it ended up being a 4-1 win. It was fantastic, but the downside, we lose Miles Robinson. Also a terrible thing for the USMNT. I'm very sad. I was very saddened for him when I saw it. I watched it. As soon as he went down, he knew. He knew what happened. So, anyway, moving on. NYCFC versus Sporting KC. Thought it was going to be a 3-1 win for NYCFC. It actually ended up being a 0-0 draw. So I guess the 0-0 draw at one point in time, I believe. Yeah, up there with Charlotte and Inter Miami, and it actually ended up being a different game. So now we move on to the other New York team, the Red Bulls versus Timbers. I thought that the Red Bulls were going to win 1-0, and it actually ended up being a 1-1 draw. Then we had DC United versus Houston Dynamo. Thought it was going to be a 2-2 draw. It actually ended up being a 2-0 win for DC. They struggled the other night in their U.S. Open Cup. They lost 3-0, I think, against FC Dallas. But, yeah, this was kind of a surprise for me. I thought Houston was a little bit better than that. So, got the Rebs versus Columbus Crew. Thought it was going to be a 1-0 win for the Rebs. Actually ended up being a 2-2 draw there at Gillette Stadium. Then you had Minnesota United versus FC Cincinnati. I thought it was going to be a 1-0 win for FC Cincinnati, and boy, did we get that one right. 1-0 FC Cincinnati. I thought that they were going to do it. I don't know. I just had a real good feeling about that game. So, next on, we have FC Dallas versus Seattle. I know there was a lot of question how Seattle would do in the Champions League to predict like what would happen with this game. But it actually ended up being a 2-0 win for Dallas, which kind of was expected in my eyes because of them winning the Champions League just earlier that week. Then we have San Jose versus Colorado Rapids. Thought it would be a 1-1 draw. Actually ended up being a 1-0 win for San Jose. Then we've got our LAFC versus Philadelphia Union. I really thought the LAFC was going to win this game and by a two-goal, almost three-goal, but actually it ended up being a 2-2 draw. The Union stepped up a little bit there. So now we have Vancouver versus Toronto FC. I thought that Toronto was going to go on the road and win this game. I definitely got that one wrong. Vancouver actually wins 1-0 over Toronto. And then we have Nashville Sc versus Real Salt Lake. Thought it was going to be a 3-0 win. It ended up being a 2-0 win. I watched some of the game. Nashville did dominate a good bit of it. So it is what it is. And then our last game of the weekend was Austin FC versus LA Galaxy. I thought that was going to be a 2-2 draw, but LA actually went into Austin. I don't know why I was going to say Houston. Went into Austin and got the result there. So that's always a nice thing to get an away win. That plays a part in my power rankings. So we'll go ahead and take a look at this. So currently, you got the Union, Red Bull, Montreal, Orlando City, Cincinnati, NYCFC, and Atlanta. If playoffs started today, would make it for the East. For the West, you have LAFC, you have Austin, Galaxy, FC Dallas, Real Salt Lake, Nashville, and Minnesota United. Now, for my power rankings, it's my own formula. You actually get more, in my formula, you get more points for away wins. So this is my power rankings. You got LAFC, Austin, Red Bulls, Philadelphia, FC Dallas, Galaxy, Montreal, NYCFC, Nashville, and Orlando City. So we move on. So right now we have picked 141 games. We have 58 of the winners correct, and we have 8 perfect games. I got to do better. I got to do better. MLS is so unpredictable. I think I said that last week. So now to our team of the week. I had to do it. It's my team. And I am a little biased. And it has to go to Atlanta United. They played a good game with the injuries that we have and everything like that. Coming out and winning 4-1. Pretty good. And I also had to go with the hat-trick hero, Ronaldo. He scored a hat-trick in 32 or 36 minutes. So I had to give it to him for the player of the week. So Atlanta United for the team of the week, and Ronaldo for the player of the week in my eyes. So let's go ahead and jump on over into the predictions for this week coming up, and I'm excited for it. So first up this week, we have Toronto FC versus Orlando City. Toronto currently are 1 win and 4 losses. They have 4 losses in a row. They're not doing too hot. Orlando City, though, you have 3 wins and 2 losses. I think this is going to be a pretty good game, but I do think that Toronto will end their losing streak and beat Orlando City at home 1-0 there in Toronto. Next up, we have Colorado Rapids versus LAFC. Colorado is currently 1 win, 1 draw, 3 losses, where LAFC is 4 wins and a draw. LAFC, again, we talk about them week in and week out recently, that they're definitely the best team in the league right now. I do believe that they go into Colorado and they get the away win with a 2-1 victory over Colorado. Next up, we have Vancouver Whitecaps versus the San Jose Earthquakes. Currently, the Whitecaps have 2 wins and 3 losses, whereas San Jose have 3 wins, a draw, and a loss. This is going to be a good game, I think. But, yeah, San Jose have won a couple games in their last 5, 3 games, actually. But I think that the Whitecaps get it done at home, and I think they actually win 2-0 over the Earthquakes. I just think that the Earthquakes still need time to realize and fix what they have. They're looking up, but I just don't think they're that good of a team. So we move on. We've got NYCFC versus Columbus Crew. NYCFC went from scoring a whole bunch of goals to drawing 0-0 against Kansas City last week. They have 3 wins and 2 draws in the last 5, whereas Columbus Crew are 1 win, 2 draws, 2 losses. With this one being at Yankee Stadium, I just believe that NYCFC will get it done at home. I think they will win this game 2-0. So then we have Charlotte versus Montreal. I think Montreal is a very tough team, and I think that they will continue to play tough. Currently, Montreal is 4 wins and a draw, and for Charlotte FC, it's 2 wins, a draw, and a loss. I think that Montreal go in, they don't get the win, but they do come away with a draw on the road against Charlotte FC. So that moves us on to Philadelphia Union versus the Red Bulls. Currently, the Union are 3 draws and 2 losses, where New York Red Bull are 4 wins and a draw. Red Bull are playing very well recently, but again, I think that the Union are too good at Subaru Park, and I believe in this matchup they actually get the win since they have not won in the last 5 games. I think they get the win 2-1 over the Red Bulls this weekend. That leads us into Chicago Fire versus FC Cincinnati. Chicago struggled last week, and they have been on a struggle. Currently, they have 1 draw and 4 losses. For FC Cincinnati, on the other hand, 4 wins and a loss in the last 5. I think that Chicago defends their home field a little bit this game. I think that FC Cincinnati walk in and go away with 1 point, and this game ends up in a 1-1 draw there at Soldier Field. So that leads us into Inter Miami versus DC United. Currently, Inter Miami are 3 wins and 2 losses, and it actually goes the same way for DC United. This is going to be a tough one. They are in Miami. DC did not look good against the Red Bull the other night in the U.S. Open Cup. I believe that Inter Miami get this done and get a 1-0 win over DC United. So that leads us into Houston versus Nashville Sc. So Nashville is now back on the road after 2 home games. Houston currently are 1 win, a draw, and 3 losses, whereas Nashville Sc is 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. I really like what Nashville is doing and everything, and I think Houston is a better team than this 3-loss streak that they're on. I think that they end this streak, but they don't get the win. I think Nashville goes into Houston and gets a 1-1 draw to get that point away. So next up we have Real Salt Lake versus Austin FC, which Austin FC did not look good the other night. But it is what it is. It happens. It's the MLS. LA Galaxy are a good side, but just the way that Austin has been playing, especially at home, I thought that they would definitely got the win there. So currently, Real Salt Lake are 1 win, a draw, and 3 losses, whereas Austin FC are 3 wins and 2 losses. I think that Austin turns it around here, and they actually beat Real Salt Lake away 2-1 to get back into the groove of things for themselves. So that leads us into our second to last game on Saturday, the 14th. We have Portland Timbers versus Sporting KC. Both teams, in my opinion, are struggling. They are 10th and 12th in the table. Portland Timber are currently 3 draws and 2 losses, where Sporting KC is 1 win, 3 draws, and a loss in the last 5. These two are very close in statistics and everything that, pretty much everything. They're about the same this year, and I don't think that that's going to change anything. I believe this game actually ends in a 0-0 draw. I feel like we do get at least 1 0-0 draw a week, so this is my game predicting a 0-0 draw. So that leads us into the last game for Saturday, which is LA Galaxy versus FC Dallas. Currently, Galaxy are 3 wins, a draw, and a loss, and it reflects for FC Dallas. They have 3 wins, a draw, and a loss. Currently, both teams are 3 and 4 in the table in the West. This is going to be a good matchup, and I actually think it's going to be such a good matchup, it actually ends up in a 1-1 draw. This week, for some reason, I got a feeling there's going to be a lot of draws here. I don't know why. I feel like there is a lot of draws anyway in the MLS, and very low scoring. I think I saw a statistic recently that this has been the lowest scoring season on average for the last couple of years with the MLS. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. I feel like I've heard that somewhere. So, and it kind of reflects that if you look at their very low scoring games. So that leads us into our first game on Sunday, and that is Atlanta United versus New England Rebs. The Rebs have turned it around recently. Atlanta's still struggling to find themselves, especially with all the injuries. Now we have also lost Miles Robinson. So currently Atlanta is 2 wins, a draw, and 2 losses, where the Rebs are 2 wins, a draw, and 2 losses. Atlanta United won their last game against Chicago Fire 4-1, so that was a pretty convincing win, but it was against a Chicago Fire. Whereas the Rebs tied Columbus Crew, which Crew have been struggling, but I don't know. So it's kind of hard to go based off that. They are at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, but I do think this game ends in another draw. Maybe I'm just being very conservative here with picking a lot of draws, but I think it ends up in a 2-2 draw. Yes, I would love for Atlanta to win, and maybe they will. And if they do happen to win, it's going to be like a 2-1 or a 3-2, something like that, and probably in Atlanta fashion on a very late goal. So that leads us into the final game of the weekend, and that is the Sounders versus Minnesota United. Currently, the Sounders are 1 win, a draw, and 3 losses, whereas Minnesota United are 3 wins and 2 losses. Currently, they are on a 2-game losing streak, though. And I think that will continue here, and I think Seattle is going to get on track. So we are going to see Seattle win a good bit of games coming up, especially since the Champions League is over. So I think that they win this game 2-0 over Minnesota United. So that is my predictions for this week. Please tell me in the comments below what you think. Give the video a thumbs up. Sorry again that this video is late. It's been a crazy week. Next week, the video will be out sooner, and I do believe I'm going to split it up again with a review and then predictions to make it a little bit shorter to get everybody to watch it. We are on the road to hit that 200 subscriber mark. Currently, I think we are at like 118, so we've got a ways to go, but thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.